This is going to be one of the biggest bike update videos that I've done. I have so many parts here. I bought a bunch of stuff. I've won some job lots. I bought a whole lot of stuff. I've met some more people. They've helped me out with bits. Massive thank you to all of them. This is the C90. Let's get into it. I've got lots of wiring and stuff to do today. And once I've done that, I'll be able to put the battery in and show you all of the lights working. So without any further ado, let's go. So the first thing we're going to be doing is installing some screws. Again, these are brand new. And yeah, we're going to be putting them in here. So this is the throttle side. And over there, we've got the horn and the high beam and low beam switch. And both of these need the correct screws. So I've got two here. These are slightly shorter ones, which I think go either on the front or the back. One side's shorter, one side's longer. That's going to allow me to then actually put the mirrors on, which will be cool. The whole handlebar assembly is wobbling around. The headlight can fall out. And yeah, the front brake is completely disconnected. So we've got a lot of jobs to do, but we're going to start with these. Now, I will have to take this off again in the future because I'll need to put some grease inside of the throttle, and I haven't got any grease right now, but it doesn't make a huge difference because I won't actually be able to ride this bike for a short period of time anyway until I can get a garage to put it in, because I don't want to start this up with petrol in the tank and then destroy all of the plastic stuff in my house again like I did last time. So these are a couple of screws. Let's find out if they go in the front or in the back. Let's take a quick look. So it's the back. The back is a much shorter thread than the front. So that is going to go in there like that, and then tighten it in. And it's absolutely the perfect size. That is dreamy. Okay, so there's one in. Now let's see if I can find the back ones. Okay, I'm going to assume it's these. They're not in a actual Honda bag, but I'm going to assume it's these. They've come from Jack, so no doubt they are official. But here we go. I can now put one of these in the front over here. This is not quite the right screwdriver. I'm going to go and get a different one. This is correct. I'm actually going to just loosen off the back one a bit, and that'll help it go in easier. Oh yeah, look at that. That is just not in the right place at all. I need to push that right over. There we go. And it's so nice to know that this whole assembly and all of the stuff inside the throttle, bar the one little small piece of plastic which grips onto the throttle cable, but that inner tube, the actual throttle barrel itself and the grip, all official Honda and new old stock as well. This lever, I think, is the original lever from the bike, which is kind of cool. There's a little bit of patina on it, but I'm going to leave that. Right, so I'm going to take off this bolt here. This is actually the wrong one, and let me show you what the right one looks like, because it is probably one of the nicest bolts on the entire bike. And I know that this might sound like an incredibly mundane and boring thing to be doing, but just wait till you see this bolt, okay? Hold your judgment. Okay, so here is the one that I've got in here at the moment, and it's completely the wrong one. Now, it does actually fit, which is, you know, that's one thing. That's kind of nice. You want that. But wait till you see the correct one. It's just going to blow your mind. It's one of the nicest bolts. And when Jack said that he had it, I think it's from his personal collection as well, I was just like, please, Jack, I'll do anything. So this is what a bolt looks like. It's not an official Honda one. The official Honda ones have a little H on them. And then there's just a washer there that I've put on, which we shall actually use. I think Jack might have sent me some official Honda ones. He has. Okay, so we're going to use an official Honda one. It's virtually identical, but you know, if it's not official Honda, I don't want to hear about it. Right, and then if I just find down here somewhere the hang on, I found it. Right, okay, so here it is. It looks fairly normal, but let me open it. This is literally one of the most, oh, for goodness sake. Okay, opening the bag has slightly killed the vibe. Right, here we go. No, it hasn't. Oh boy, look at that. That is what we call a smooth, polished bolt. And it's absolutely beautiful. And that is gonna go right there. So let's grab one of these official Honda washers. And I don't think it matters which side goes on where. We can put that in there. And you'll notice as well, there's a smooth part. And the smooth part, in fact, I ordered in a job lot a brake. It came with the job lot, but I won't actually be using this because also this one's got a little rubber tip on it. You can see down there, but this is the original one, so we're going to keep it. But you can see where the actual brake itself. Oh, that's not the right size. Hang on. Oh, my life might be ruined. Wait a minute. Oh no! It's too big! No! Just cry myself to sleep, I suppose. Quite emotional about that, really. Okay, well, I suppose while we're on the front brake, we can turn our attention down to this situation. So, there are a couple of bits that we're going to need to make this work. And I think I have them here. So, this little thing is a kind of just a barrel, nice shiny big barrel, which goes in here. And then the thread passes through it like that. And then you've got a little bit of thread sticking out. And then this, which I believe is the right one, I have got two different sizes. This little piece screws onto the end, but I might need to loosen this off. There we go. Okay. I've broken it again. God damn it. Let's try this. Hang on. Oh! Well, that does work. That does work. Okay, great. Well, that seems to be fine. In fact, if it's a little bit loose, but we can just twist that, and that's much better. Hell yeah. Okay, well, we can fiddle with that later on, but at least it's all in pole position, as someone said, and it was me right now. Okay, so over here we've got the wrong bolts in there, so I'm going to sort that out. They're currently Allen key bolts, and as we now know, they need to be Phillips screws. So I'm going to remove this as well. We've just done the other side. As you saw if you were watching. So here we go. Now with our beautiful Phillips new old stock, or just OEM, I don't know if they're old stock, but the screws go in there like that. Absolutely perfect. Then one back here. All the way in. Okay, so that is those two fully done. Right, let's address this problem. I think what we're going to do first is put these screws into the headlight. So I wanted to show you kind of how I've been finding all of these parts. So this is a photocopy of this manual, this parts list. Jack gave me this from Shire Bike. So I printed it off, and yeah, so basically I've just been consulting the diagrams. So the two screws that we're looking for are not actually displayed on this diagram. So if we flip over a few times, let's take a little look. We should see something to do with the headlight assembly. Oh. I'm in the wrong place entirely. Hello? There we go. Okay, so we need to find screw number 17. So can you see here, 18 is that tiny little packet of washers that I showed you in the last video. So that's these there, the little washers with the kind of the indent there. And then we're looking for 17, which I believe I ordered. And also we need to find, there's something that attaches the brake light onto here, which we need to look at later as well. So let's look for 17. So if we flip it over the page, 17, it is 93500. Let me see this here. 93500050021. So let's see if I have them. Okay, so I definitely don't have quite the right screws, but I did order from Sendico a bunch of these. Now these are black, and I believe they're supposed to be silver. In fact, I'm almost certain of it. But if you look here, it says screw 5 by 12. And this is a 5mm thread, and it's 12 long. So, well, there's the thread there. Yeah, so this should be absolutely fine. It's not quite right, but for the sake of just getting the bike together, I'm going to use them anyway. But we will have to order some silver ones because obviously the black ones are going to stand out like a sore thumb. So let's put these in. That's now in, front brake's working, looking groovy. And if you look at the mirrors as well, once those go in, I mean, we can sort of attach one now just to show you what that would look like. Really very cool. Now, this little part here is a bit of a disaster. So these are like some of the rarest parts that you just cannot find on this bike. It's a little bit of a shame. Now, my friend TC Tube beautifully restored these two pieces for me. I have actually found one new old stock one, and if you flip them over, it's actually the underside that's exposed because it goes in like this and holds this whole plastic thing together. But what it also does is actually holds the entire handlebar onto that bracket that you can just see poking through there, which is fixed to the fork. So these are a very integral part of the bike. Now, this is what the washer, or sorry, the nut looks like. It's got this sort of thing that sticks out on the end. Again, an absolutely impossible part to find. So what I'm gonna do, just for the sake of getting the bike together again, which is gonna be a bit of a common phrase, I'm gonna be using a nut that's the right size thread, but it's obviously less than ideal. It will work perfectly fine, but I'm gonna have to try and find the replacement. But I have found one seller selling two of these on eBay for $60, and there's absolutely no way I am buying one of those, but we can use the beautiful one that I do have, and then the other one is restored by my friend, which is arguably cooler. So let's screw that in. TC Tube also restored this nut itself. This was not chromed before, it was covered in rust, so it's very, very, very cool, but unfortunately I only have the one. But yeah, that goes in there like that. And then I'll have to get a bigger socket set and screw that in. The other one is going to be one of these washers that he restored for me, and then just a generic nut, which will, as I said, do the job, but it's not quite what we want. It's not quite what we want. Oh yeah, that feels good to have that be actually nice and strong. No more wobbling around. So look at that, we've now got the two switches fully secured, nice and tight. Maybe that gap can be closed up a bit more. but it does sort of clamp down. So I suppose, yeah, look, if I loosen that off a little bit, I can close that gap up, and I can probably do the same on the other side. Yes, okay, so I'll do that. I've got these screws in here. Again, not quite the right ones. And also black ones are really, really difficult because the moment you put a screwdriver in there, it sort of scratches it a little bit. But that'll do the job for now. This doesn't look too bad. I suppose it is all on the underside anyway. From the above, from the whatever the words are, it looks great. Okay, let's carry on. I'm going to adjust those quickly now, and then we're going to move on to some wiring stuff. This has probably been one of the most enjoyable things I've ever done in my life. And I really want to like thank everybody who's been supporting me and watching me through this restoration. I know it's not quite been the series that everybody would have hoped, but it's been very therapeutic for me, and I've really enjoyed the process of finding a part and then it coming down and being able to fit it. Like even those 2 screws under the headlight, for me that's just going to be another exciting sit down at my computer and try and find the part. If Jack can't get it for me, you know, Jack's got a lot of contacts, but these parts are so hard to find that sometimes I've just got to go to Japanese auction sites and see if I can find it. But I don't really mind that, you know. And you know, once you do find the screws, even with all the fees involved, it's only going to be a few pounds, which is fine by me. But yeah, it's just been so enjoyable. And if the people who stole the bike and set it on fire are watching, thank you for all of the lessons you've taught me and all of the fun that you have provided me. And I absolutely love the bike, even more than I ever could have imagined before, because it's been with me through something really quite harrowing and scary, and now it's become like a true kind of part of my life. I know that sounds really dramatic, but I hope to have this bike forever, you know. I think it's such a cool thing that we've gone through together, you know. But anyway, cup of tea time. So this is probably the bit that I've been most excited about. So in here is all of the electronic components. Now, the original relay for the indicators is a little bit rusty. It's not too bad, you know, I could definitely clean that up, but it did spend a night in the sea and it doesn't work. I've plugged it in and it doesn't work. And I don't know what sort of goes on inside here. I managed to find this one, which is new old stock, and it looks absolutely identical, but it is unfortunately different. If you look at the positioning of the bracket, this one sort of brings it out to the left, this one keeps it in the center, which then offsets where this goes into here. On the top of that, it has the wrong color wires. I mean, it's not too bad, but it also, for some reason, doesn't seem to work. I'm not sure if that's actually going to be a problem elsewhere. We're going to have to find out. But I got very, very lucky on eBay, and I showed you in the last video, and I actually managed to find the correct one, the exact one that I need, brand new, right there next to the rectifier, which looks brilliant. However, there are 2 male connectors on the ends of the wires, when one of them, in fact, needs to be female. So we're going to have to change that. And let's just remind ourselves why. Oh yeah, here we go. It's because out of the wiring harness here is a grey and red wire. You can see, hang on, come out to play. There we go. Right, so there's a red and grey wire here. This is a red and grey wire, but we're just going to be touching tips on the end here. So I'm going to need to swap that over And I'm gonna do that on this because we get a bit more room than in here. So I'm gonna swap this over to a female connector. I bought a bunch of bullet connectors off of Jack. These are Japanese ones. So let's get on with that. So since we're gonna be chopping this all up anyway, what I'm actually going to try and do is unhook all of this stuff so that we can keep the wires the exact same length. I know it doesn't really make a huge difference. I could just snip it there and strip it, but since we're going to be doing that pretty much anyway, well, if this doesn't work, I'm going to have to do that. So I'm going to try and very carefully remove this all so that we can keep the wire's length original. Let's give this a try. If I just, there we go. Let's go around here. Ah, lovely. Right. Now we need to do the same in there. That's going to be quite difficult. The crimping tool that Honda uses has done a very good job here. I wonder if there's a person in Honda who is like, their job role is just to crimp. And then on any sort of form, they have to write crimper as their profession. It's pretty good. It's good enough. It's good enough for rock and roll. And yeah, I mean, the wires are more or less the exact same length. I'll take that. Okay, so I actually bought a crimper. So this is my first day on the job as a professional crimper. Let's do it. I'm going to have to hand this over to the professional sellotape remover though first because, oh my goodness me. Right, we're going for the pliers. Snip. Right, in we are. Oh, wow. Oh, I like that sound. Oh yeah, okay. Let's try one without anything in it first. That has done an absolutely horrid job. Right, I think I've figured out a way to make the crimping tool work, so let's just give it a go. The worst case scenario is I have to order a bigger sized crimping tool. So here we have the connector, the female end. So we're going to sit the wire just there like that. And then place this, in fact, do you know what? Let's put this in here first. Slide in the wire. Make sure it's not too far down. And then let's crimp. I mean, it's not great. Oh dear. Why is everything so difficult? Well, you can see why there's a professional crimper for the job, because that's not great at all. Right, now, I can't continue without saying a massive thank you to Alan. I bought this off of Alan, and he included a few little extras. I'll show you the other bits in a moment, but one of the things that he included was this, which is a replacement bolt that goes into the frame through this hole here. Look at that. It goes in there like that, and then you have yourself a brand new one. Now, if I try and find the original one somewhere. So this is the one that I had. A little bit rusty, not too bad, a little bit chewed up, but if you look at it next to the brand new one that Alan gave me, it's night and day. So let's now install this absolutely spectacular part, the light relay, the indicator relay. And look, there's a nice little sticker there. Oh, yes. Look at that. Okay, and then we can plug in the wires. There we go. And then the one that I did myself, which is truly horrible, but I shall try and sort it out another time. In it goes. Yeah, I mean, it's not great. In fact, I don't even think that that makes a very good connection. There we go. It'll do. It's good enough. So I think what I'm going to do now is sort out the rear wiring. So Alan very kindly also included this, which is just beautiful. This is a new old stock brake light wire. This is one of 3 wires that we're going to need to sort out. So this one, as you can see here, goes to this, comes all the way through the bike and goes into here, which is the switch on the brake lever. So this is what, if I just move this down here, you can see this switch attached to a spring. That then sends the signal through this wire over to the brake light, and jobs are good. And so that's one of them sorted. And then we've got another one that we're going to have to make up, which is the brown one. We're going to do that. And then I've also got this orange wire here, which is for one of the indicators. So we need to do a couple of bits. I'm also going to need to put a little bit of heat shrink over this because it's broken, but this is a beautiful wire. Again, new old stock, I believe, so absolutely perfect, but a little bit of heat shrink on that will sort it out. So let's get on with that. I now have these 2 wires coming out of here, which means that I can finally connect up the brake light or the tail light. So let's shove those in there. And those wires that I've kind of been using, this is the new old stock one that Alan gave us. Those wires that I've been using are official Honda ones, which is cool. I'm just going to close that up a little bit. There's still one thing that we're not going to be able to do right now, which is connect this. This is like an earthing wire that's going to need to go into the back of here. But unfortunately, I don't have one of the parts, you know, the little washer thing that we actually need to connect to the end of that. So it's just going to have to be like that for now. Right, so what I can do is now find the stuff to connect this, and then that is the tail light in and hooked up. So these are the 2 bolts that hold the tail light on. They don't seem to have the exact same model number, but this is a 5x12 bolt, and if you look on here, at what we're trying to attach. It's number 24 there and number 28. And if you look, 24 is a, hang on, 24. 24 is a 6x10, huh? No, I've made this mistake again. It's 23. 23 is what we're looking for. So 23, 29, and 27. So 23 is a 5x12, 29 is a washer spring, and 27 is a plain 5mm washer. So I have all of those parts here. So here is the bolt. There we have it. And then here is a 5mm washer. And here is the washer spring. So let's just quickly double check the exact arrangement of those. So it's the 27 at the end, which is the washer. And then the spring is 29 in the middle. So it goes like that. There we have it. Okay.
Welcome to my slideshow. There's a couple of tabs underneath the bike that are for the indicator and brake wires so that they could tuck away nicely and not get hit by the tyre. That weird sort of finish underneath the bike frame is called a stone chip paint, which does what it says on the tin. It just protects the underside from stones flicking up and chipping the paint and then causing rust. So hopefully it should future-proof it quite nicely. I bundled all the wires up and tucked them into the tabs. I actually had to unplug them a couple of times. One time to thread underneath that sort of horizontal tube, which I believe is the support for the shocks. So quite an integral part of the bike. I just assumed that if the suspension was to bottom out for any reason and the tyre would possibly reach that area and cause the wires to break. So I didn't want any of that. So that's all nice and tucked away now. And I had also ordered this little grommet, which goes into the frame and the wires run through that. So that looks really nice and all sorted properly.
What I've got is a brand new old stock battery holder, and then I've got this, which isn't new old stock, but I found it on eBay and it is really good condition, so I'm very pleased with it. So this goes into there, the battery sits in there, and then that holds everything down. So there's a few bits of sort of faffing around we're going to have to do here.
I'd also ordered this little plastic chain guard piece, which I fitted. Then I had to fit all the new bolts onto the big metal proper chain guard, so they're all correct now, and that is lovely. The wheel spins beautifully. The other bolt I had ordered was for the front wheel. I still needed the nut for that front wheel, but that bolt is now in situ. One of the other jobs I had to do was sand down the sprocket cover and give it a fresh coat of paint, and I'd ordered the correct bolts to hold that in as well. With that all fitted, I put the correct hardware into the leg shield, which looks really nice. Official bolt and washer, of course. The other task was to stick the Honda emblem onto the leg shield. This is actually supposed to have little metal tabs which stick out of the back, but they've snapped off. I'll probably keep my eye out for a new old stock one on eBay. I also bought the correct earthing tab to connect up the rear brake light to the frame, so I did that, and then I could test some of the lights and stuff.
So there's a few more bits we need to do over in this region. For some reason, the battery I bought didn't come with a breathing tube, so I've had to go over to Wiimoto and I picked up a bunch more stuff. So let's put a breathing tube on this battery, because I don't actually really know why you've got to do that, but well, actually there's a little bit of liquid coming out of the tip of that there, so maybe that's why. Maybe it's because it just periodically leaks, I don't know. But anyway, we'll just shove that all the way on. There we have it. We sort of want access to the fuse, I think, so I am going to leave that there just for now. Right, so where are my fuses gone? Did anybody see where I put them? Here they are. So these are the fuses. I basically made a mistake and blew a fuse, so don't judge me, but here we go. Here's the fuse, and then it only took me 3 attempts getting the right size. But again, I've learnt my lesson. Fuses are not universal and one size fits all. So here we go. Let's now test the horn. Okay, good. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go left. That's not working. Let's go right. That's not working either. Okay, let's see if the bulb that I had from before works. Yes, it does. So it turns out the bulbs I bought from Wiimoto are not going to work. Damn it! Okay, I just have to order these exact bulbs again online, but what I can at least show you is if I do this, sorry, go for the right hand side, that does work, and then if I swap it over to the left, that does work as well. So that is good. And then if I show you the brake light, so there's a switch in the center of the handlebars. If I just bring you up here, this little switch here, once I flick that into the central position, the rear brake light comes on. So if I just show you that there, so it's off, on, and then the full beam is just for the front, so ignore that. But now, test the brake switch. There we go, that works. So the horn works as well. I can show you this, which is nice. So let me show you the front indicators. So we go right, obviously lights up, but not gonna blink. The left-hand side one will, because the bulb is correct on that one. That is the headlight on there. Now, there isn't a low beam, because there is supposed to be a low beam, but there's a bulb that's supposed to be further down, and this is actually the incorrect headlight. The English market had an additional bulb, which I don't have. So when I flick it to low, it doesn't do anything. But then there's also, we've got the high beam as well, but that doesn't really seem to make. There's a sort of a mid setting. I don't know if you can see that there. There's a mid setting, which gets ever so slightly brighter. If I show you on my wall, you can see there, we're not getting a lot of light, but it works. Yay, the puppet show can begin. It's a capybara looking for a berry. The other thing we are going to do is test that there is a spark on the bike, because that's one of the things that you need for the bike to work. So I bought this little kit. The C90 is actually supposed to have a toolkit, But I think when the bike got stolen and set on fire, they used that to like smash some bits up, and I had to give it parts of whatever was left in evidence to the police. So I don't have that, but I did just buy this today from Wiimoto. I think it was only £8, and apparently it's got all the different sizes you could ever dream of. Look at that. And I also bought a spark plug, which is right here. So that's good. Right, here we go. Let's take this one that's in here out. Just a little bit on the old rusty side, but let's test and actually see if this one's gonna be the same size. DR60, DR5HS, and DR. That's wrong. That's slightly wrong. Let me do some Googling, one moment. Okay, so here's the thing. On Google, it says that this is not actually a compatible reference. So either I've been using the wrong spark plug in the bike, or I should just check the Honda manual. But let me just quickly show you this, look. Oh, hang on, that's not gonna work, 1 second. Let's just... Hey, so there's a spark. So if you look here, number 33, it's this number right here, 98066-56715, and a quick Google tells me that this is in fact the right spark plug. So that can go back in. Boom. It's gonna start. Now, one other very lovely thing I picked up from Wiimoto is two 10mm nuts. And let me just show you how nuts I am for buying these nuts. Because if you just take a look at this right here, I'm not entirely sure why it doesn't sit like properly flush to the frame there. Maybe if someone has any answers for that, but the this leg shield is aftermarket, so that's probably why. You can see there's a little bit of sticker residue there I need to wipe off, but that could be it for this video. I'm gonna have to order some bulbs. I'm gonna trim the breathing tube that comes out of the bottom of the bike. That's obviously far too long, but at least that is correctly in there. I'm gonna order the bulb, as I said, and once I've done that, I can put the covers on there. I managed to find a new old stock one of these, which is really, really exciting. This one is not original to the bike anyway. It is an original one, but it's not original to the bike. I did kind of restore it, but I used like a heat method, and in doing that, I bent this up, and that's always really annoyed me. And I think it's supposed to sit a bit more flush, but I managed to find two for £20, so very excited about that. But yeah, this really is just an absolute work of art now. It's just stunning. It's absolutely stunning. And look at this, Jack very kindly sent me this little keyring for the C90, which is so cute. So thank you again, Jack, for that. So I messed up with the sticker on the other side of the tank. I need to order a new sticker for this because it's scratched here from the leg shield not being fitted properly and just sort of flapping around. There's also a sticker missing here that needs to go on. And also the little washers here, these spacers for the leg shields that go underneath here and screw into the engine. I don't have the right bolts, so I need to order the bolts for that and a couple of new old stock washers like these ones to go there, and then that will sort that out. But I've also ordered the brand new old stock carb on Sendico. So once that comes down, I'll be able to fit that. But in all honesty, oh, and then the other thing as well, this nut here I need to get. But genuinely, if you put some petrol in this bike, I honestly think it would start right now. Like, I actually think it would start if you put petrol in the bike right this very second. So that's a result. Holy crap. I've also just sent off to get all the logbook stuff sorted out. But look at that. Wow. Thanks very much for watching this video. See you soon.